fast forward to now, how is your organization doing right now, and how do you reach out to the president? Do you have an access to the president and all that?
No. There's a saddest part of it.
Yeah.
Be reminded that I was released in 1991,
Yes.
and there is a document that is still recycled. They call it a revolving document.
Yes.
Nowadays, they would call it a trending document,
Yes.
entitled the Recognition and Procedural Agreement that we wanted with the Department of Correctional Services. It was never accepted, even up to today, because those who were and are still in charge would say to them, look, the moment you allow this organization of Miles Bhudu to get recognition, we will lose our grip on these human beings, and we would in fact be in trouble all the time, because this is the most corrupt department one can get within the establishment.
So you are saying there are people who wanted to bring your organization down?
Yes, of course. I mean, I can, at the top of my head, talk about the McKenzies and the Canny Kunenes, because these guys, when they were in prison, they were very close to this organization when they were doing time in Grootvlei. We used to leave everything in the office when they called to listen to what they have to say.
Yes.
And then Gayton got released first. And then he started coming with tendencies that was counter-revolutionary, listen to you, then want to take your ideas and make it his ideas. And that is where I realized that I'm not going to be a very good friend of Gayton McKenzie. And ultimately it happened that he went around, jellied himself into the high-level politicians, and Kenny was released, and they went around discrediting me, bad-mouthing me, gossiping me about me and my organization, and the rest is history.
So, but along those lines, they might say, give us the proof.
Proof.
Yes.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
Even up to today, Gayton don't want to have anything to do with me. I suggested to him the other day that, listen here, you would get more votes from people who are behind bars, sentenced and unsentenced prisoners, ex-prisoners, ex-awaiting trials. Those are out on bail, their relatives. If you can create a desk within the Patriotic Alliance and let me run the desk, because sentenced and unsentenced prisoners are potential voters. And then he went on social media, how powerful and influential he is, even if it comes to prisoners, far above the Miles Bhudus of this world, because he's got deep pockets and he's rubbing shoulders with the monopoly capitalist, with those who are the captains of industry and those who have access to monopoly.
So would you say our prison systems, within our prison systems, there's corruption there? Because now guys like him don't want to come to such interviews. Would you say inside prison there's too much corruption there?
Well, if I had an opportunity, or the authority, I was going to call it the Department of Corruptional Services, until the corruption is rooted out in this department.
So, with that thinking in mind, don't you think people like you will never get to be heard by public in terms of the knowledge that they have to expose? Now, how do you survive now? Because for me, it appears that you've been dragged to the mud. People are trying to tarnish your name. How do you survive?
Look, what we need to do is, we are 30 years in arrears. We should have started day one after 1994 to educate, to agitate, to conscientize, to lobby community and make them to understand that those who commit crimes will be arrested someday. They might get away the first time, they might get away the second time, but they will be arrested, because we have moved away from the slogan that says crime doesn't pay. Crime doesn't pay fools. But what we are saying now is there isn't a perfect crime, let alone a perfect murder. Now, developed and civilized countries, communities are educated about crimes and criminals long before the crime gets committed. And if the crime is committed, you are fallen along the wayside, you go to the system, you go to prison for redemption, education, training, skills development, You get rehabilitated and you get prepared for reintegration. And when the reintegration happens, there is monitoring, evaluation, and supervision projects. This country should have started 30 years ago to do what I'm talking about, but it never was taken seriously because it comes from Miles Bhudu, who in fact took a vow that I shall not be corrupted, I shall not be concocted, and I shall not be captured.